Hello and welcome to Log Cabin Gaming, and today we are going to try and answer which Bloodthirster should I build. So you got your Bloodthirster kit, and there is one of three that you can build with all the parts given in it. And what I found is I started off with the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, and then quickly I found out that I wanted the Insensate Rage one, and then now I want the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. So what I'm going to show you to do is, with all the parts that you get in the kit, we'll be able to build all three of them. You'll have one main one, and with the clever use of magnets, we'll be able to interchange the arms and the weapons. There's a slight caveat in that the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury and the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster share a couple of parts, so you don't get extra ones. The most minor one being part 18, I think, is the tongue. They have the same tongue. So because I've got another kit, I was able to pilfer a spare tongue, but it's so small you probably won't even see it. So just pick your least favourite version, and he can have no tongue. The other thing that is reasonably important is the Fettered Fury and the Wrath of Khorne share the same arm, the axe holding arm, and basically it's the same arm and the same haft for both models, and it's only the top that changes. But again, I had a spare kit, so I was able to build both. But if you've only got one kit, the only thing I can really recommend is that you just pick your favourite sword or axe, and use that. They're very similar, so yeah, just pick your favourite one and use it. The problem is, because of the way it joins, it's too small to magnetise. So unless you've got a spare kit, or unless somebody's very kind, that's the only way to do it. So what you want to do is you want to build your Bloodthirster, do the first 4 steps, and that takes you all the way up to here, which gives you the whole body. So you've got the body without the head and without the arms and without the wings. That's what you want to be doing. And then steps 5, 6 and 7, build the 3 separate heads, and like I said, you've got enough parts minus one tongue to build all 3 heads. There you go. Now once you've done that, you're going to skip parts 10 and 11, and all you're going to do is just selectively pick out the arms. So you're going to build all the arms with the weapon options. The only one I haven't put together is the great axe for the Insensate Rage Thirster, because what I want to do is I want to place the arms in position with the magnets and then glue the axe on, so I know it's exactly right. So when I take it off and on, I know it'll be a perfect fit every time. Again, like I said, this one here, ideally we're going to magnetise the wrist here if you've got a second axe, but if not, you're just going to keep one, and we're just going to magnetise the arms. Okay, so before we get started, there's a quick checklist of what you need. The first thing is this Citadel green stuff. Pick this up from your local Games Workshop store, and we're going to be using that to fill in the holes, as you'll see a bit later. And we are going to put the magnets in there. So these are, I think these are 6mm magnets, but you can use any magnets you want. But what I'll do is I'll put a description in the link of what these ones are. I won't put a link to any particular site, because you can just search and get the ones that you want, because links change all the time. And what we want is 2 coloured markers. We're going to be using the coloured markers to mark the poles of the magnets, because we need to make sure that we get them the right way round when we embed them into the arms and weapons and the body. And last but not least, if you kind of have one, like something to move the green stuff with, like a texture tool or a sculpting tool, this is what I use to use the Games Workshop texture paint for the bases. I'm hoping it will be fine. We've got a pot of water as well, because it's water based. We should be able to keep it wet and moist, and that will help us make it more malleable, so it's not going to dry out too quick. So I think that's everything that we've got. So yeah, if you go and grab all the stuff you need and then join us for the next part. Hi guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our magnets, and using our two different coloured pens we are going to mark the top side on each magnet with one colour and the bottom side with another colour. So this is what they are. So if we take our black one, we're just going to put a black dot on that one, a black dot on that one. Okay, we're just going to do 10 of them like this, and on the other side we are going to put a red dot. That way we know the black goes to red when we're putting them in our model. Because if you see, if I push red to red, they go away, but if I flip it red to black, they come together. So that's how we know we are going to be doing the right side. Okay, now that we've done that, the next thing is to take your green stuff. Okay, and it's split up in 4 packs. So we're just going to take one. We're going to take one piece away. So we're going to cut a little piece off like that, and I'm going to do something shiny. Just going to mix it together. Okay, it should start reacting. I'm going to take a little piece here, and let's start off with the head. What we're going to do is we're going to push this in the head. You can already feel it start to stick. Okay, push a bit more in. We take our magnets, and we're just going to push them in there like that, just to make an indent. And the reason we're doing this is it's going to reduce our drilling time later on, so we can actually shape it to hold the magnet, to seat it. Later on we should hopefully not have to drill this, it'll just be a case of super gluing it. Okay, with my other piece, I'm going to do this on the arms there. Okay, we're going to fill the arms in. See if I can stretch it out a bit. And if you can clean up as much as you can, there'll be less cleaning to do later. So whilst it's soft. Okay, so what I've done is I've embedded the magnets into it whilst it's still wet. We'll see if that holds it. If it doesn't, it's fine, we can always take them out and super glue them in. But I've been very careful to make sure that I've got the red dots that we did earlier pointing out, because it means then on when we do the arms, we'll make sure the black dots are pointing out, and we know that they'll stick together. Okay, so we'll wait for that to dry, and in the meantime we'll do the arms. Okay. There we go, we're going to shove that in there. And again we are going to try and... this way is the other way, so we're going to put the red dot down so it gives us the black dot up. Okay. Okay, as an intermediary step, what I'm doing, this has probably been drying for about 4 or 5 hours now, and it's getting a bit solid, but we can still move it. So what I'm systematically doing is just coming back, making sure the parts kind of fit each other, and trying to get a good join. And if there's any green stuff that's fouling on it or that's not making a good join, I'm just scraping it away. And then what you want to do is just make sure the magnets are in the right place. They're in the right places for all the arms, you know, so this is the kind of time that you want to be doing this tweaking. It's a bit of a nuisance, but it's well worth it. There's the other one. So if I grab this one, and then I'm just going around with all the arms, just making sure you can kind of feel the pull of the magnet, they snap, and we're kind of getting a good join. Because ideally we don't want any of this green stuff to foul when it's hard. I mean, it doesn't matter if you miss a few bits, you can always get in and file it or cut it away, but it's obviously easier to do it now before it's fully set. So I'm just going to do this with all the pieces. Let's try that again. Cool, it's strong enough to hold. There's a bit of green stuff there. I'll see if I can scrape that off. Stows me. Okay. Bloodthirster. The other arm. Okay. And like I said, what I'm going to do, because we've got this arm here, this is the Wrath of Khorne and the Unfettered Fury that holds the axe. I'm going to dig out my spares because I know I've got another arm like this, and just glue the axes on them. I'm going to make 2 arms because I can't really see there's a way to do it. I mean, you could probably, once they're glued, you could probably cut it around there and then put a tiny magnet on if you wanted to do it, but you'll lose maybe a skull or so because just of the way the axe joins, but you'll see when you assemble it. But I think for now simplicity dictates that because I've got a second arm, I'll use a second arm. And we've got the other side here. Make sure that goes in like that. Yeah. So see what's happened here. This basically, that's not held the magnet in. That's fine, that's not a problem, but what we have got is this nice indent. So when that hardens, all I'll do is I will take this magnet off and super glue it in, and that's fine. So I was assuming we'd have to do that for all of them, but if you know, if some of them have held true, then that's a step that we don't have to do. So we've kind of got lucky so far, but this one we'll probably have to super glue at the end once it's fully hard. Okay, so we'll come back at the end when this is fully hard, probably tomorrow now. Okay, so what I've done now is I have put the green stuff into the neck, and I have put in a 4mm magnet because the 6mm magnets were too big, just literally by a gnat whisker. So and as you can see, what I've done is I've just left it slightly proud of the green stuff because we've got a bit of a groove to fill in. So when we put that on there, should be a nice fit. Obviously it's not going to stick now, but that's what we're going to do now. So we're just going to get some green stuff mixed up again, and we are going to push it into the heads. Let's just do that. And what we're going to do is we are going to get another 4mm magnet. There we go. So that 4mm magnet is now onto the neck. So when we mix our green stuff, let's take Wrath of Khorne head, push that in there. So when we offer it up, one of two things are going to happen. either the magnet is going to come away when we take the head off, or it's going to leave us a nice imprint to glue a magnet in. Ah, there we go. So now when I offer that back up, and it will stick. Okay, so you're going to do that with all 3 heads. Don't worry that that's not stuck in yet. Wait for that to set and then offer it up. If the magnet still comes away, obviously what we can do is super glue it in, and that's probably preferable, but I'm just going to do this with the other 2 heads and then we'll be back. Okay, so now that all the magnets are dry and glued, what you should have is 3 sets of heads and weapons. So here we've got the Wrath of Khorne head and his associate weapons, and you can just line them up. There we go. You'll see these just fit on. If I grab this thing here, there you go. There's the Wrath of Khorne guy done. If we want the other one, let's take these off. This one is going to be the Unfettered Fury. This lash goes down, doesn't it? There we go. And if you want, you can change him over, I guess. You know, you can mix and match. Obviously we've got the Bloodthirster still to go. Again, I haven't glued his mighty axe yet, but eventually that will go like that when we're done with it. Then we've got his head here. Okay, so the next thing to do is to add the wings. So let me go get the wings and we'll be back. Okay, welcome back, and as you can see I've stuck the wings on now, so he is pretty much ready to go. We've got our 3 sets of weapons and heads, and what I've left off is the chest plate and a shoulder plate, just to make painting easier. But as you can see, all these fit nicely now. There we go, there is our Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury. There is our Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. And finally, our Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster. What I've done with the Wrath of Khorne arms is I've stuck on the forearm guards there. You've only got 1 set, so you could choose to magnetise it, but I'd probably just pick your favourite loadout and keep it on that. And because I've already got a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage and a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, I'm going to keep him as the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster so I can glue that safely. Stay tuned to the channel and I will show you how to paint the Bloodthirster to look like this guy. Okay, and we'll also do a tutorial on the base, but they're going to be on separate videos. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.